Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. I'm Dyvonne, and today I'm going to share with y'all these wonderful blueberry buttermilk biscuits from scratch. These are the ingredients that I'm going to be using, and these biscuits are so obnoxiously delicious. And anytime that I make them, I always end up making 2 batches. This is how I do it. In my large mixing bowl, I'm putting in 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Be sure that you definitely want to aerate your flour a little bit like you saw me do there to make sure that you don't have too much flour packed down into your measuring cup, okay? And so to that, I added in some sugar, and that was 1/3 cup of sugar. Then I'm going to add in my baking powder. So far in my bowl, I have 2 1/4 cups of regular unbleached all-purpose flour. I have also 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, and now I'm putting in 3 teaspoons of baking powder for our leveling, and we're also going to be putting in some baking soda as well. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome in, and if you're a returner, welcome back. I want to thank all my wonderful subscribers for your continued support, your likes, your shares, your subscribes, your good vibe comments. I truly appreciate it. It is so helping my channel to grow from a little channel to we're getting their channel. The baking soda, I put 1/4 teaspoon. Next, we're going to put in some regular table salt, and I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of regular table salt. Now, I will have a list of ingredients in the description box below underneath the title of the video. You click on more, either it'll say show more. The description box will open up and you'll have a list of ingredients for your reference, but I'm going to share with you and show you how to put those ingredients together to make these crazy biscuits that are so good. So next what we'll do is, once I went on and I mixed all my ingredients together, then I'm grating in some frozen butter, and that was unsalted frozen butter. I did 1/2 stick, which is 4 tablespoons of the frozen butter. That nice frozen butter, as well as my shortening that I'm using, is also 4 tablespoons of regular shortening that I'm using, is also nice and cold. I had my shortening was in the freezer. Shortening really doesn't freeze per se, but it gets super stiff, and that coldness is what you want. That's going to help our biscuits to be nice and flaky, as well as how we bring our ingredients together makes a difference in how our biscuits turn out. And so once I have the shortening and the butter, I keep using my fork and I'm pressing because I'm gonna make some nice crumbly pieces, like nice cornmeal. You want it to have the texture of cornmeal. That's what you want it to look like. Sometimes I use my fingers, sometimes I use my fork, and this is what you're looking for. You see how you have those little chunks? That's what you're looking for. Next, I'm going to use some nice cold buttermilk. Be sure to shake up your buttermilk, and I'm also going to use some pure vanilla extract, and that's 1/2 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and 1 cup of the buttermilk. And I put the extract in with the buttermilk. I just go ahead and mix that around and then pour that into my dry ingredients. I'm going to use my fork to incorporate the buttermilk and the vanilla in with the dry ingredients. You can use a fork like I'm using. You can use a spoon or either a rubber spatula. Either one of those will work just fine to start to bring your dough together. And what I do is, once I have my wet and my dry ingredients have started to really incorporate together well, I go ahead and I switch from using either my fork or my spoon or my spatula, whichever one. I switch over to my hand and I just start to go ahead and pull all the dough from around the sides and bring everything into the center. And then what you want to do is form a nice dough ball. Once you form your dough ball into your bowl, then you can go ahead and put your dough onto your countertop. You can use a nice clean countertop. I'm using my silicone mat here. And you're going to need some flour to knead your dough, and also to help, your fingers are going to be sticky. Nice sticky dough make great biscuits. And so you're going to have your nice sticky dough. Your dough should also feel nice, pillowy soft. And I'm using my fingertips, not so much as my palm with this dough. We want to be really gentle with it. And you see how I'm kneading it? I'm more so using my fingertips to knead it. I'm going to fold it over onto itself, knead it a few times to create those nice layers. And I do that about 5 or 6 times. Then I have a nice rectangle that I've shaped here. I press the dough, and as you notice, I never used a rolling pin. I just used my fingertips and my fingers to really just get the dough together. So once I've done that, and I've spread the dough out, and it's about 12 inches, about 12, 14 inches long right now. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking my blueberries. I'm using 1 cup of fresh blueberries. You can also use frozen blueberries as well. I gently press them into my dough because I don't want to pop them at all. So gently press them into your dough. Sprinkle a little bit of flour. This was about a tablespoon. I fold the dough over on top of the blueberries, and then I fold the other half over as well. Now your blueberries will start to come out on the sides or roll a little bit. That's going to happen, and that's okay. In the event that that happens, what you do is you just retuck your blueberries right back in. When you're also folding and kneading to create your layers, and it's going to be thick, your blueberries, if they come out, all I do is just take them, I press them right back underneath the dough, and I continue to use my fingertips and pressing, moving the dough around. I do about 4 to 5 folds, but still being very gentle with my biscuit dough. Then I start to go ahead and shape it. You want to shape it either into a round or to a rectangle. I go ahead and shape it, and then I have it about 1 inch thick, no more than 1 inch, anywhere from 1/2 inch, but no more than 1 inch. Then I use my biscuit cutter, and with your biscuit cutter, you want to go straight down. You can jiggle a little bit like I'm doing, but you don't want to twist. If you twist your biscuit cutter, what will happen is you'll seal your sides and your biscuits won't rise very well. I'm doing this old school style, and I'm baking them in my cast iron skillet that I've gone on and I've buttered with some unsalted butter. This is going to make 10 nice sized biscuits. You want your biscuits to touch, because when your biscuits touch, they rise so much better than if they are spread out on a baking sheet by themselves. And from this dough, you're going to get 10 biscuits. Now, if you don't have a cast iron skillet like I do, you can use a cake pan that has the high sides like you would bake a layer cake in. You can use that, a 9-inch one, and go ahead and butter the sides and bake your biscuits as well into that. Now while I'm doing this, I have my oven is preheating, and our biscuits are going to bake at 450 degrees, and they're going to bake from about 18 minutes up to about 22 minutes. Check them at about 15 minutes to see how they're doing. You want your biscuits, they're going to end up rising and baking together, but you want your biscuits to be moist in the centers, in the grooves where the biscuits are joined together, but you don't want them to be wet. You don't want to have them have a wet look. And so check them about 15 minutes. If your biscuits seem like they're baking up really fast and getting overly brown, you can lower your oven temperature to 425. So these are our biscuits. I'm going to put them in the oven. I brush them with some half and half, which is going to help them have a beautiful golden brown color. So here they are. They look so good. They smell so good. You can smell that vanilla and the blueberries. I'm using a couple of tablespoons of butter. This is unsalted butter that I am just brushing on our biscuits. I'm going to set them aside, but we are not done yet. I'm going to make a nice vanilla glaze. So for the vanilla glaze, I'm using 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter that I've microwaved, and I let the butter cool. Then to that, I'm adding 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. This is enough glaze for 2 batches, and I am making 2 batches today. If you're only going to make 1 batch, you can go ahead and just have the glaze recipe, okay? Now to that, I'm going to add just a pinch of regular table salt. And then after the pinch of regular table salt, we're going to put in some vanilla, and that's going to be 1/4 teaspoon. And you do want to have your biscuits cool down a little bit, and so while they're cooling is when I make the glaze. I don't really make it ahead of time. I let the biscuits kind of cool a little bit, so that way when I put the glaze on, it just doesn't melt all over the place. And so I'm going to put in some half and half as well. So that was 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. The half and half we're going to end up using just till the consistency, you get the consistency you want. I usually like to use about 3 or 4 tablespoons. Start off with a couple of tablespoons, and then you can go ahead and add in another tablespoon, and that's what I like right there. Now this is what, though, if you're going to put in 2 tablespoons, you're going to have a thicker glaze. And this is a nice buttery vanilla glaze that just pairs perfectly with these biscuits. And you can also make these biscuits with either strawberries or either with blackberries as well, or if you have a favorite berry you like, you can definitely substitute that into this recipe. And this is my grandmother's buttermilk biscuit recipe. I dolled it up with the blueberries, the sugar, and the vanilla, and then we're going to adorn it with this wonderful buttery vanilla glaze. And this is looking so good, and this is the consistency that I like with my glaze. It's just enough for me to make with the 2 batches that I'm going to make. And I just take my spoon and I go back and forth just like that. You can take a spatula or a butter knife and spread it on if you like, but I just like to kind of drizzle it. Our biscuits, this is what they look like. I'm going to go ahead and serve us up some. This is our breakfast this morning. I'm going to also be making it with some breakfast meat and also some scrambled eggs. Got some coffee going. This is going to be a nice Sunday morning breakfast. And if you like savory biscuits, I'll put a link in the description box below for my buttermilk cheddar biscuits that are absolutely delicious. Well, oh my goodness, are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Do you see how they have come out? They are so fluffy. Oh my, those blueberries are in there. And you know what? These are hot. These are still very, very hot. That cast iron skillet, there's nothing like cooking and baking in a cast iron skillet. And do you see these flaky layers? It just pulled apart so nicely. Oh my, and you've got this glaze that's on here. They are just so soft and tender. Okay, I'm going to give y'all the first bite. You ready? Go ahead and take your bite. Now I'm going to take my bite and see how we did. Y'all, these biscuits right here, I said that they were obnoxiously good, and they certainly are. Well, I hope you treat yourself, treat your family, give this recipe a try. And one more thing, we forgot to check the undercarriage. We always have to see how that bottom turned out, and it came out perfect. Well, that is it for me today. I enjoyed spending time with you in my kitchen. I hope you enjoyed being here with me. If you're not subscribed, I invite you to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to show this video some love, give it a thumbs up, and click share. And share this video with a friend or family. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you can come back and visit me again in my kitchen. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.